Hey, Jeremy the Tall Trainer here. We're going to get started. 3, 2, 1, boom. We are doing some jumping jacks first, all right? So loosen up a little bit. I usually do half jumping jacks, just so I can talk a little bit too. You can do the full jumping jacks if you want, just make sure your landings are quality. All right, so we got 3 warm-up exercises, then we're going to get into the work. This is going to be a band workout, all right? So using a resistance band, all right? And we've got 5 exercises, but one of them is 2 sides on the same exercise. All right, so I will show you some of them, as we go, and so I will pause from the warm-up to show you that. So keep doing your jumping jacks. All right, what we've got here is one of the first ones is going to be a plank back fly. So you're going to come down here, you're going to put one hand on the band, the other hand on the handle, and you're going to squeeze back. Now I can shift forward more to make it tougher, and I can go up onto my toes to make it tougher. You're going to do 10 on one side, then 10 on the other, and if you have some extra time, you'll do 5 on one side, 5 on the other. All right, so now in the warm-up, we're doing the tap back. All right, tap back, reach up, and then switch sides. Tap back, reach up. Right in there. Whew. Very nice, very nice. All right, so while you were doing the tap back, I'll show you a little bit more. The next one is going to be a seated row. I just want you to have a chance to see these exercises really quick before we get into it. Seated row, I crisscross the loop around the feet, crisscross the handles, shoulders away from the ears, and I'm squeezing back. Right here, sitting up nice and tall. That's the seated row. We're going to focus on that squeeze back part of that exercise. All right. The next one is triceps. So I'm going to step on the band. I'm going to grab onto the handles a little bit differently around the outside. Chest out, butt out, and I'm pressing back. Right in here doing a tricep extension. All right. And the last one, you're still doing tap backs, is going to be the single leg deadlift. I have to make sure to switch sides. So warm-up wise, you're going to switch over to kick back crisscross, right? So just crisscross the arms, loosen up there. Workout wise, a single leg deadlift, you're going to grab onto both handles. You're going to step on the band so that it's pretty tight even when you're tipped over. I'm going to be tipped over, chest out, butt out, and I'm going to stand up right in there and then come back down. So if you need to, you step on a little bit more to make it tighter. Right in there, and I'm focusing on this front leg, squeezing and lifting me up. So I'll go through those a little bit more while we're doing them, but we're about to start doing them pretty quick. All right, so loosen up a little bit. Stop swinging my band around there. Should be a pretty good workout, and this goes along with the no equipment version of this workout, using the same timing sequence, so it can be done interchangeably if you need to. All right, so good total body resistance training workout. All right, here we go. We have the plank back fly. All right, so coming down. Here I am, one hand on there. I can be butt up in the air, squeezing back. If it's too tight, give yourself a little bit more slack here to make it easier to do. I can go shift forward, and that makes it tougher. Or I can go up onto the feet there. Make sure you have a decent pressure on that band, as you're doing this. I kind of like having the heel on there, just so it doesn't bend my wrist back as much. So I got one side, and then the other side. Here, I'll show you the other side from this other angle. So I'm on there with the heel of my hand, squeezing out to the side here. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Keep my posture really nice. Shoulders squeezed down, all that stuff. If I got more time, I'll go 5 on each side. Oh, but I'm not out of time. All right, now we got the row. It is a seated row. So I'm gonna sit down here, loop the band over my feet. Don't pull your toes back towards you too much or it's gonna pop off. Crisscross the handles. Make sure you hold on to them while you crisscross. Crisscross the handles and you start pulling it towards you. Oh, I'm making it look harder than it is. Sometimes when you try to hurry, it doesn't go as well. Squeeze back right in here. So I find the farther apart I go, sometimes that gives a little bit more. If I get more band caught between my feet, so it's kind of caught on the side of my shoe there, now I have less band right here, and that's a way to make it more difficult. So squeezing shoulders down, chest out, squeezing out there, really getting that good posture set. Now I'll turn sideways a little bit more so you can see that. Right in there. Nice. So open up the chest, maybe keep the head from going forward. That's a habit I have. Get your head back, Jeremy. All right, right in there. Now we have triceps. So coming up, grabbing onto the handles right around the outside. All right, so I'm grabbing around the outside of the whole handle, chest out, butt out, and I'm pressing back now. All right, and if you want to make it tougher, you step on more of the band. Usually you don't have to make this one too tough though. It's already pretty tough. If you're using the same band for the row and for triceps, you're gonna notice triceps is a lot tougher. Chest out, butt out. But there's adjustments to be made. I can go a little bit narrower with my feet. Gives me a little more band on the sides. That will make it a little bit easier. Push the chest out. Now, a big mistake people make on this one is they slouch up like this and start doing this stuff. This is not tricep extension here. This is when you chest out, really inflate that chest, elbows up high, and then you press back. It's not a whole arm move. It's just a squeeze back. And that's where you feel the work come in really big. Nice. All right, now single leg deadlift. All right. So I'm going to step on the band. I'll show you from this angle here. Step on the band, tap back a little bit, and then step up. You can notice it's going to be pulling quite a bit at the top of that. You may reach near the limit of your band. If you don't have a band with a cover like this, take it easy on testing the limit of your band. Now I'm tapping back, but I'm going to try not to push off that back leg. I'm going to try to squeeze with the front leg. Let me show you the other angle there. All right, squeeze with the front leg. So I'm staying same leg the whole minute here. Same leg the whole minute. Tapping back. I'm setting up my glutes to fire up. Now I stand up using them. You can go a little bit lower if you want to on that tap back. Try to keep some tension on the bands, even when you're at the bottom. So that way when you really come up, it's against the glutes there. All right, other leg now. Other leg now. So I'm going to switch sides here. I'm going to do facing you just so you can see it from this angle. So I'm really focusing on the glute on this side and trying to use that to stand up with. Boom. Shoulders anchored back and down because it does get pretty tight at the top. Make sure it's not going to slide out from under your foot. That is uncomfortable. You can hardly tap. You can do no tap if you want to. If you think you're a balanced all-star stud, you could try that. All right. No shame in not being a balanced all-star stud, okay? This is not about showing off. This is about exercising, getting stronger. Your balance will come over time. Especially if you get tired, you'll find yourself weaker there. So a minute rest. And so, cool things about the band, it's fairly portable. There's some limitations on the band, but we try to minimize those limitations with the exercises that we chose here. All right? So there are some modified options that you can do, but for the most part, it is what it is. But this is a workout that should suit most people. Single leg deadlift should be easier on the knees than most squats because you're really tipping in the hip more, not bending the knee as much. All right, triceps should be fairly game for people even with shoulder challenges. Playing back fly will be tricky, but you can do that with the butt up higher in the air if you got a tricky shoulder there. And the row, hopefully your shoulders are good enough to do the row because it's an important exercise for the shoulder. All right, you ready to rock? Plank back fly time. All right, put the pressure on. Here we go. Again, you can do it from knees or from toes. If it gets to be too much pressure on your wrist from the toes, just do the knees, it's fine. And again, if it's too much pressure still, just pop the knees in closer, get your butt up higher. You're still getting some decent benefits. We do want to have a little bit of support on that arm, so if you need to kick it just a little bit, you can do that. Make sure you're not squeezing up here as you're doing it. You're not hunching as you're doing it, that you're getting the chest opened up and squeezing out there, all right? Make sure you get both sides in, so you got 10 on one side, 10 on the other side. So make sure you save enough time, to be able to do that. If you have extra time, you can go back to 5 and 5. Depending on how fast you do your reps, maybe. Hopefully, you don't have too much extra time. All right. Switch back again, do a couple. Whoop, see, there you got 2. All right, good. All right, the row. I don't have to stand up all the way. I can sit right back down. All right, I'll take my time on this one. I'm gonna try to see if we can catch that groove of the shoe with the row. I'm gonna try to get, show you from this angle, try to get some extra slack in between the feet. So if I do right here, and I have hardly any distance between the feet, it's gonna be easier. I got more band to work with right here. But if I let it out here a little bit, let the tension off, and then let it hook on my feet a little bit, now I've got less for my arms to pull and makes the resistance level tougher. All right, shoulders down, chest out. Nice part is working other posture muscles too. If you want to make it tougher, don't go all the way out. Focus on that, just that squeeze back part of it. Elbows, almost imagine like you're trying to dig your elbows into the sand here, dragging your elbows through the sand. So shoulders down, chest out, squeezing back there. All right, your focus is what's gonna be the difficult part out of that, unless your band's really beastly. All right, then we've got the triceps. They're standing in there. You probably want a narrow stance for this one, just so you got more band to work with. Chest out, butt out, and squeezing back. Boom, right there. Oh, so much fun. So big thing, really hit that chest out. Really hit that chest out. Keep those elbows right by your side. Imagine you super glued your elbows to your rib cage there. And tighten up those muscles in the armpit as you're doing this. Shoulders away from the ear, nice long neck. If you want to make it tougher, don't go all the way in. Just come down just a little bit. Press back up. Yep, feel it. All right, single leg deadlift. All right, both handles in one hand. Gonna step on that band, get it pretty tight to start with, and then come up. Ooh, see, that was too tight? So now you can just adjust it a little bit. Go, okay, there we go. Now it's movable, okay. I can make it move. Do a little bit more. I don't want to do too much though, because I want it to be tough. But I want to be just enough where I can get fully standing up without feeling like I'm gonna break the band. Again, I'm trying to do as much of that by letting go of the back foot first and then standing up with the front leg. So not pushing off the back leg, but standing up with that front leg. Pushing down in there, standing up. Tipping forward, standing up. And you can try it balance style if you want. Oh, my bun is on fire. I would say buns, but it's really just the one bun. Oh, one bun. All right, other leg. I'll just face you again. It's less confusing that way. Make sure you get it set to where you can get good extension. Got it. All right. Boom. The faster you can get set, the more time you have to do the exercise too. So you want to try not to waste too much time on your switch over. Oh, balance style. Here we try. I'll try a couple. Kick that leg back and come on. Chest out, butt out. So I'm not slouching over doing this. The rib cage is full. The rib cage is full. I've inflated that balloon. Yeah, that feels pretty good, I'll tell you. I feel it. I feel it in there. All right. Take a rest. Take a rest. Good idea to take the pressure off before you step off. You saw I had a little bit of pressure on there, but I knew how much I had, so I knew it was going to whip me. But if I was in here, put lots of pressure on, and then stepped off, it goes launching. All right, so it's good better to come up and go whoop, down there. Much better place. Much better place for it to be. All right, so we got plank back fly is what we're going to hit again. All right, plank back fly, little tricep deadlift. All right, I'm going to try to get ready for this one a little bit more, and maybe I can get through a little bit of the 5 and 5 on this set here. And I'm not going to teach you as much because hopefully you got to figure it out pretty good. I'll show you from this angle here. do both from this side here. All right, we got about 2 seconds. Ready to rock. 1. See that movement there? Trying to make my shoulder blade move, not just moving here, but it's a big open move. 10. I'm going to hold on right here just so I know what spot I'm supposed to be in. So I can make sure both arms get in the same. Now I usually go wide sometimes when I go to one point in front. I go a little bit wider with the feet for balance sake. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe I can get a little bit more. Can I get the other side in? I did it. I did it. Yes. Perfect. All right, so next up is the row. Have a seat. Loop it. Don't rush and get yourself all discombobulated there. Make sure your toes are pointing away a little bit so it doesn't flop off and hit you. Make sure your toes are turned out a little bit so you got good posture there too. Shoulders width in the ears, chest out, and pulling back. Let me get a little bit tighter there. Go a little wider with my feet to make it harder on my arms. I get a little bit of work in my glute too when I do that. Going wide like that with the feet. That's good. That's good. Move for small ones. Big squeezes. So half the difficulty is coming from the band, half the difficulty is coming from my posture and how hard I'm squeezing down and back. Shoulders away from the ear, shoulders away from the ear, not up in the neck. Not up in the neck. Keep that chin pulled back, not out here. Oh, that was good. Triceps, grabbing around the outside of the handle. You want a narrower stance for this, most likely. All right, so narrower stance, chest out, butt out. Squeezing back there. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, twitchy, twitchy. Oh, after all those rows, I could feel it in the triceps there too. Pressing back. Coming in just a little bit, pressing back. Abs are pulled in, chest is out. That top's the hardest spot. Try to get to full extension. Full reach back as you do the top of the tricep. Oh, that got me good. That got me good. It builds up over time, especially as you get better on your technique. All right, single leg deadlift. Boom. Let me get a set here. So I'll show you balance style there. Right there. Tip and squeeze. So it's clearly all relying on that leg. And when I'm doing this move, the gluteus is holding me up a lot on this. You're gonna feel that work happening pretty good. Notice I don't have to bend this knee too far. That's one of the advantages for people who have knees that are beat up a little bit more. For me, my knees don't complain at me. But if they did, I would do more deadlift rather than squat. So I could still be strong, but not have cranky knees. Oh yeah, felt it. It didn't look right to me. All right, boom. All right, see if I can balance all-star a couple of these for you. Oh boy, yeah. Feel that glute. gotta extend that back leg a little bit. Chest is out. Try to be on the heel of this foot, but also keep the pressure on the band, all right? All right. Put the tension off, and we got rest. One more set. One more set on this, all right? Last chance is what we call it. What we call it in the business. All right, so plank back fly. Oh, I want to make sure we get to that one really, really well. Make sure you are focused and ready for that. If you can't kneel and you need a different option, if you just stand but have like pressure on a chair, make sure it's a pretty solid chair, put that pressure on and then do your back fly that way, that could work too. Okay, so you could do it off of a chair. And you can even add more of a plank. You can shift forward into that a little bit too. And still get a decent amount of plank, and that would be a little bit less shoulder pressure as you're doing that. All right, 4 seconds. Whew. Make it a little tighter here. Let's see if I try a little tougher version. Nice. All right, other side. Get my 10. 1, 2. All right, chest is out, abs tight. Inflate the ribs. All right, I got 10. How far into my 5 can I get? Got one side. I got it. All right, row, seated. I'll do it facing you this time. Sorry about that. Loud throat clearing. All right, go wide. So now I got only a little bit of band for my hands. Oh boy. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah. See how it crisscrosses there? Keep those toes out a little bit. Don't let them dip in or else it's going to pop off there. Oh, make it tougher. Go for the small squeezes. Shoulders down, chest out. I'm feeling it. Feeling it. Ooh. Oh, good work. Good work with that. Triceps. All right, narrow stance. It's probably a little more favorable. Remember grabbing the outside of the handle. All right, see how the handle is? Right like that. I'm just grabbing around the whole outside. All right. Chest out, butt out. Elbows up high, pressing back. Nice. Oh boy. Chest out, butt out. Keep that back straight. Oh, my triceps are failing out. Try to get that full extension. All right. Single leg deadlift. Almost there, almost there. Let's see, I'll show you this side here. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. Fun, fun. I'll try a little more of a balance. Try that out. But you can tap both front and back if you need to. Focus in on that glute. Squeeze from there to come up. It's like you're pushing that foot away from you, pulling your hand away from that foot, pushing your foot away from that hand. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll stay facing the same way. You can see it from a slightly different perspective this way, probably. Yeah, looped up, swooped up. Excellent. Oh, yeah. It's pretty tight on top. All right, so that's one thing. Definitely have reaching a pretty big tension on those bands. Squeezing up. Oh boy. Think about those oil derricks out in the field there where they're pumping, tipping, and just squeezing up. Tipping, there's a slight knee bend, back on the heel, squeezing up. Chest is out. We did it. We did it, all right? So a total body workout. Let's do a couple stretches, and we will call it a day. All right. Make sure I got a nice timer ready for that. Something I could have gotten ready earlier, I suppose. All right. Tricep stretch will be the first one. All right. So reach back, pat yourself on the back, like you did a job well done. Then you're gonna take the other hand onto the elbow and point that up in the air. Stretching out the tricep. We did some good tricep work in there. I suppose tricep stretch would be good too. This is going to be a pretty short stretch here. I do recommend if you have time, hit some more stretches. We have other resources for that. Or you can skip there right now. If you're going to do a longer stretch, you can skip past the short one. But if all you're doing the short one is the short one, that's good enough. All right, good by me. At least you're doing something. All right, abs in tight, point that elbow up. It's just the flexibility that makes you feel younger. So if you like feeling younger, you should do it. If you don't like feeling younger, don't stretch. It's a waste of time. If you're 12, you don't care. If you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you start to care. All right, hamstring stretch. Kick that foot out there, chest out, butt out, and tip at the hip. Imagine there's a dial at your hips. You're turning that dial to get a stronger stretch on the back of the leg. It should be quite uncomfortable. The hamstring can really stretch. You know, and it doesn't feel amazing when you're doing it. Chest out, butt out. Again, try to stick your tailbone out. Think about like a happy puppy. Tail's way up in the air. Woohoo! Happy day, you just got home from work. It's time for us to go for a walk and you to feed me. All right, chest out, butt out. Happy puppy in that tailbone there. Pretty straight with that knee. You can pull the toes back towards you, but don't let that interfere with the hamstring stretch too bad. So you pull the toes back and you're like, ah, and you stop tipping forward. Maybe let up on the toes. Aim for more of that. But you can double dip a little bit. When you pull those toes back, you get a hamstring and a calf. Not a bad deal. All right, quad stretch. All right, so get a little wall or something like that to bounce off of. Point that knee down, abs in tight, push the hips forward, and stretch in the quad. So it's not just about trying to get your heel to your butt. That's some of the quad. But when you start to point that knee away and push the hips forward, you start to feel a whole lot more firing up there. That's how the hip flexors are influenced in there. The role that they play in the quadricep there. All right, grab a hold, point that knee down, push the hips forward. And they're the ones you got to worry about more anyway, so why not focus on them? Knee points down, abs in tight, push hips forward. It's good to change up your resistance, but don't change it up too much. Don't change it up too often. You want to hit a workout like this, if you're going to do it a couple times a week. All right, so you can get really good at the exercises. All right, so you can get really good at the exercises, and then you get to work them harder and better and harder and better, and that's where the benefit of resistance training comes in. All right? So variety is awesome, but it has its limits. It keeps you entertained, but does it get you amazing results? And we would argue that probably some of the most phenomenal athletes, and physical specimens out there really they do some of the boring stuff over and over again, and they work it hard, and that's why they get to be where they're at. This is 30 minutes. You can give 30 minutes. It is doable, you know, a couple times a week, and really keep at that over time. Get better and better and better at these. All right? So this is Jeremy saying have fun, be safe, God bless.